So after a big win for the Springboks in round number 1 of the Rugby Championship, they find themselves head-to-head again with the Australians. Now, last game, it wasn't even really close. This game at Optus Stadium, where Australia got a pretty decent record, can they turn it around? Or will South Africa once again be too strong for this Wallaby side? In this preview, we'll be looking through at the lineups, the key players to watch out for, also a few interesting stats about these two sides, and then at the end, a prediction of who we think will win this matchup. But first of all, we will be looking through at the starting lineups for Australia. They have gone with Angus Bell, Josh Nassar, and Alan Alaalatoa in the front row. 2 changes from what we did see in the last game, with Bell and also Josh Nassar moving into the starting side. In the locking duo, Angus Blythe will be the 4 with Lukan Salakai-Lotto as the 5. Once again, having to make a change, this one due to injury. We did see Nick Frost get injured in their last match, and the replacement lock, Jeremy Williams, also suffering an injury in match number 1. In the loose board trio, it is unchanged from the first contest. Number 6, Rob Valentini. Number 7, Carlo Tizzano, did make his debut last week. And then number 8, Harry Wilson, having the second most dominant carries in the Rugby Championship, only behind Ardie Savea. In the backline, they have gone with Nick White as the starting 9, but number 10, once again, it will be Noah Lolesio. Now, a lot of people concerned with that selection, definitely after the way that he played in the first match. Going to have to see drastic improvements from that young fly half. Number 11, this is where we do see Marika Korombeti for the first time this year for the Aussies. In the centres, Hunter Paisami and Len Ikitau, with number 14 being Andrew Callaway, player who was yellow carded last week. Discipline has to be on point for this match here. Number 15, this is where they have gone with Tom Wright, who was strong at the back for Australia. But unfortunately, South Africa as a whole were just much stronger in pretty much every aspect throughout their last matchup. But looking through at South Africa, they have made a huge amount of changes in the starting lineup. Some are rested, some are due to injury. We did see Ben Jason Dixon get a little bit of an injury after the first match, and also RG Snyman before that last contest did end up with the foot injury, which is why he is not here for this game either. But in the front row, it is Jan Hendrik Wessels as the number 1. He has got the potential of being an extremely strong future option for the Springboks. He is still extremely young. He's powerful. He can play prop and hooker, which not too many players running around at international rugby level have got the ability to do. But he has got it, and he is going to be playing at loosehead prop for this game. Number 2, Johan Krobela, and number 3, Thomas de Toy. So 3 changes for South Africa in the front row compared to last week. Number 4, Salman Moura. He will once again be the captain for the Springboks. This will be his second opportunity to captain the side. The last time was up against the Portuguese in the July Internationals. Number 5, Ruan Nokia. He actually had a bit of an injury earlier on in the season, so it is great to see that he is back now and raring to go for the Boks. In the loose board trio, it is Mako van Staden. He made his way off the bench in the last match up against Australia. Pieter-Steph du Toit at 7. That is where he was initially going to be starting before the RG Snyman injury, actually playing a tremendous game at 5 in round number 1. And then number 8, Elric Lowe. They have stuck with him as that number 8 option. There were questions of whether or not maybe Quagga Smith would make his way into the starting side, but once again, Quagga will be the man off of the bench. Number 9, Morne van den Berg for his first start for the Springboks. And then number 10, once again, it is Sasha Feinberg Ungome Zulu. He was absolutely sensational up against the Australians last week. He was having running meters. He was setting up tries. He was defensively sound. A massive, massive future for that man, whether that is at 10, whether that is in the centres, or whether that is somehow at fullback, which we could actually see later on in this matchup. Number 11, Makazole Mapimpi for his first match of the Rugby Championship. In the midfield, it is Lucanio Am as the number 12, with Jesse Creel on his outside at 13. Number 14, Cheslin Colby, is one of only 3 backs who got to keep their starting spot. And then number 15, this is where we do see Apelele Fasi rather than Vili LaRue as the fullback. But those are the starting lineups. In terms of key players for the Australians, I've already mentioned him, of course, Harry Wilson. Those impressive carries with the ball in hand, bringing physicality, is exactly what Australia lacked as a whole for that first match up against South Africa. In the breakdowns, most of the time, Australia weren't really there. Their possession and territory stats, to be honest, they looked awful. Throughout that first match, South Africa were dominating in terms of the position on the field. Some of that was to go on Noah Lolesio for not clearing the ball when they had the opportunity, but the Boks looked on fire in that first contest, and they will want to do the exact same here. There have been critiques already about the selection that South Africa have gone with. People saying that this is an arrogant move from Rassie Erasmus for playing his B side, but these guys are all capable of being in that starting side. Some of them are future Springbok stars. And of course, Australia would have heard about the rumours, about what people are saying that this is a weaker Springbok side. So that puts even more added pressure on this Wallabies team. And they need more than just Harry Wilson to step up. And this match, I think we need to see a lot more of Tom Wright, but not on defence. I think we need to see him on attack. Him and Callaway can be so dangerous when they have an attacking chance. The Springboks, they had brilliant scramble defence in the first match, so they have to throw about 3 or 4 options at the Springboks defensive line and try and create that little opportunity to make their way through for the line break. Now, of course, normally it's not just one tackle that the Springboks need to miss for you to bust through. You need about 3 or 4, which is where the offloading of Australia could be absolutely crucial in this contest as well. And then the last man to watch out for in this contest for the Australians, I believe, is Marika Korombete. His first game back, you wonder whether or not he will be at that same level as we did see last year and the year prior. There was a Rugby Championship not too long ago that he was absolutely rampaging down that wing. We need to see that Marika Korombete if the Aussies do want a great chance. But looking through at South Africa's key players, Sasha Feinberg, Ungume Zulu, he is certainly a player to watch out for in this game. If he is able to control the match the way that he did just 1 week ago, I don't really see the Springboks losing this game. But if they can somehow disrupt him, cause him to be under pressure, which is something not many sides have been able to do so far, as every game he's made his way onto the field or has started, he has looked phenomenal from start to finish. Looking back at that second test match up against the Irish, the fact that he made his way on 2 minutes into the game because of Villy Leroux's concussion, and he just looked like he was meant to be in that starting side. He is a massive prospect for the Springboks and a massive key player for them in this matchup. Jesse Kriel at 13. The work that that man does defensively and on attack is extremely impressive. He is one of the best 13s, if not the best 13 in World Rugby at the moment. And if he can have a great game, it's going to be a big handful for Hunter Paisami and also Len Ikitau. And then the last key player, I believe, for the Springboks is Peter Steph du Toit, one of the only forwards alongside Eldrick Lowe to keep his spot in the starting side 2 weeks in a row. He has just come back from an injury. You wouldn't have thought it from the way that he played in that first match. He's an immense player. He's a workhorse, and he's going to bring a lot for the Boks at Optus Stadium. But a few interesting stats about these two sides. South Africa currently on a 3-match winning streak up against Australia. If they do win this game, they will have the second longest winning streak over Australia in Springbok history. The last time that they had a longer streak than the 4 was actually back in 1969 to 1971, a 7-match winning streak. And if this South African side continue the way that they played in that first match, that is a record that could soon be broken. But Australia, they don't have too bad of a record up against the South Africans in Australia. Their last 2 games, though, of the Rugby Championship that have been played in Australia, the Wallabies only able to score less than 10 points, whereas for the South Africans, they have won their last 3 games up against Australia, all by an average margin of just over 24 points. So they've had a lot of dominance. And is that the trend that's going to continue for this Australian side? I mentioned about it a little bit earlier on. An impressive record at Optus Stadium for Australia. They've played 9 games there. They have only lost 1 at the ground to the All Blacks. Other than that, they've had a very strong run when they do play in Perth. But now we're up to that stage of a prediction. The safe money is to back South Africa to go 2 from 2 in the early stages of the Rugby Championship. And to be honest, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Yes, they've made those changes, but I mentioned it earlier on. People who are calling this a B-side haven't really witnessed enough, I don't believe, of these players to judge it as a B-side. These guys have got a huge amount of talent and a huge amount of potential for the future, whether it is someone like a Jan Hendrik Wessels, a Johan Grobler, Eldrick Lowe, a Pelele Fassi. There are a lot of young guys who could stand out for the Springboks in this contest, and I'm going to say they win this game 29-17. points to 15. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than the first test match between the teams, but I do still see South Africa being too strong in this contest. Now, those words could come back to bite me. We've seen my predictions be awful before, so I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see an upset win here for the Australians in Perth as well. But thank you all very much for tuning into this preview. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be live on the channel doing the commentary for the matchup. It is starting at 11:45 a.m. South African time on Saturday, and we will be live on the channel giving you guys updates all throughout the contest. But do let me know who you think will win this game and what your score prediction is in the comments down below. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one. Australia, South Africa, you want to have a crack, do you? Almost. Hello.
Hi. South Africa by 20.
There you go. Mums are always right.